I kept smiling at their dinner table, knowing they'd never accept the truth I carried for 14 years. And when I finally told them, they didn't say a word. I don't know when exactly it started feeling like a lie. Maybe it always was, and I just got better at pretending. At smiling when they asked if I had a girlfriend. At laughing tight little laughs when my dad joked about real men and what God made them for. But it's been getting harder to swallow. I was 12 when I first knew. I kissed a boy at summer Bible camp. Yes, Bible camp. His name was Eli, and it was sloppy and nervous and over in 6 seconds flat, and we never spoke about it again. But I remember how I couldn't sleep that night. I wasn't panicking. I wasn't scared. I don't even know, lit up, like something cracked open in me. That was the same summer our youth pastor gave a whole sermon about how homosexual urges were the devil testing us. I went home and cried in the shower with the water turned boiling hot, like I could burn it off. You have to understand, my family isn't just Christian. They're capital C Christian. Like, we don't do Halloween because that glorifies demons Christian. Like, there was a phase where my mom only let us watch VeggieTales and Kirk Cameron movies. Still, I've never not loved them. My mom's hands are magic in the kitchen kind of love. My little sisters breathe into this paper bag, jokes when I got anxious. My dad's heavy, calloused palms on my shoulder, squeezing just gentle enough that I'd believe he meant it when he said he was proud. But none of them know me. Not really. They know the version I let them see. The one that dated a girl for 6 months in high school and made up excuses not to do anything physical past a kiss on the cheek. The one that played sports just long enough to seem normal. The one that went to church every Sunday and bowed his head even when he felt like screaming. Fast forward, I'm 26 now. I live 2 hours away from them, which isn't enough, honestly. I still go home for holidays, and every single time, I feel like I'm slipping into a costume I outgrew years ago. My mom sets a place for me at the table like nothing's changed. My dad cracks open a beer and says, "So, met any nice girls?" And I pretend to laugh, even though my chest tightens every single time he says it. I'm seeing someone now. James. He's the calmest person I've ever met. He teaches high school art. Doesn't know how to lie. Doesn't pretend to understand football, just to get by in this world. His fridge has oat milk and sticky notes I've left him at 3 a.m. Things like, "You're the best thing in my life." You know, because he is. But no one in my family knows he exists. I never even say his name. Last Christmas, James dropped me off at my parents' place. We didn't touch in the car. He parked a block away. I told him it was because the driveway would be full, which, yeah, technically true, but mostly I was scared someone might see us. He pulled me into a hug before I got out. Hand on the back of my neck, forehead against mine, real soft, like he knew I was bracing for war. And I felt myself holding back tears before I even knocked on the door. It used to be that I thought I could wait them out, like, someday they'll grow more tolerant, or someday society will help them come around. But decades of sermons and traditions and judging the neighbors whose kid came out, it gets in their bones. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I've drafted letters, rehearsed speeches, prayed, ironically. But the fear stays lodged in me so deep, it feels like a part of my spine. I picture their faces, the devastation on my mom's, the disappointment, the quiet fury in my dad's eyes. He never yells, but oh God, the silence is worse. My sister would try to be supportive, but she's got her own conditioning. I keep thinking, maybe I don't need to tell them. Maybe I can just live my life separately. Keep the peace. Visit on holidays. Send birthday texts. Keep James and this version of me quarantined from the rest of my life. But lately, it's been gnawing at me. That part of me that wants to invite James to Thanksgiving. That wants to hold his hand walking through town and not flinch like I'm doing something shameful. That wants to finally breathe without rationing out honesty in little, manageable lies. A few nights ago, James asked, gently because he always is, "Do you think you'll ever be ready to tell them?" And I said, "Yeah." But it came out like a question. Then I started crying. Not the dramatic sobbing kind. Just this slow, shaking leak like my body was finally exhaling something I didn't know I'd held for years. He held me like it was okay to not know. Like loving each other could still be enough even if the world outside never made room for it. But I also saw the ache in his eyes. The tired kind. I think I'm running out of time to keep this split self going. I'm so tired of feeling like a coward in my own story. After that night, I couldn't even look at my phone without wanting to throw it. Every incoming text from my mom hit like static against my teeth. Don't forget Emily's birthday next Tuesday. Or we miss you, sweetheart, smiling face with hearts. All just normal, casual, suffocating reminders of the lie I kept feeding them with a straight face. I think what really broke me wasn't the church stuff or even the politics. It was how much they love me without knowing me. They'd throw themselves in front of a car for the version of me they think exists. But would they for the real one? I started having dreams where I was saying it, telling them. Sometimes they yelled. Sometimes they cried. And sometimes, weirdest of all, it just didn't land. Like I said it, but no one heard me. And I'd keep repeating it. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. Like a stuck record. Until I'd wake up, heart racing, soaked in sweat and shame and something like mourning. James never pressured me, not really. But I could tell this was starting to wear on him. Not in a passive-aggressive way, more like something in his shoulders sunk a little lower each time I left to visit home without him. Each time he had to pretend he was just my roommate when a family member friended me on Facebook. He never said it directly, but I felt it. This fear that he was my forever secret, no matter how loudly we laughed in our quiet house or how many love you, as we said before bed. It's funny, I used to think coming out was this one-time event. A single conversation. A sentence I just had to spit out and survive. But it's not. It's 100 moments. It's every damn holiday, every family gathering, every baby photo my mom posts with a caption like, "Can't wait for grandbabies one day." And I just sit there, liking it, heart pounding, stomach twisting. And still, I chickened out. Again and again. I'd tell myself, next time. Always next time. Then came my dad's birthday dinner. The whole family at that restaurant by the lake. The one where they pretend salmon counts as vegetarian for Emily, where my mom orders sweet tea even though she hates it because she says it's the southern thing to do. That place. We were all there. Me, my mom and dad, Emily and her fiancé Matt, my grandma who only hears every fourth word but insists she's sharp as a tack still. And I sat there between them, smiling, nodding, feeling like a goddamn ghost in my own life. At one point, there was a lull in conversation, and Emily turned to me and asked, "So, you seeing anyone these days?" My fork clinked against the plate, way too loud. I almost said it. I almost said his name. But then my dad chuckled and said, "Of course he is. Probably stringing along some poor girl who doesn't know he's married to his job." And just like that, the moment snapped shut. Everyone laughed. I laughed too. That hollow kind of laugh you do when something inside you's caving. When we got back to the house, I helped my mom clean up dishes. She had on her favorite apron, the one that says "Bless this mess," which is honestly the most accidentally honest garment in the house. Out of nowhere, she goes, "You're quiet tonight, baby. Everything okay?" And I just nodded. Told her I was tired. She kissed my cheek, like she used to when I was a kid. Still calls me her sweet boy. Still smells like cinnamon and church coffee. I didn't sleep at all that night. When I got back to my apartment the next day and walked through the door, James was sitting cross-legged on the couch, grading papers with a blanket wrapped around him. The light hit his face in this soft, late-afternoon slant, and I just stood there like a complete idiot, holding my bag and staring at him. He looked up and smiled like he'd been waiting days to make it okay again. That's how I knew I had to tell them. I couldn't keep doing this, hurting both halves of my life. Pretending silence was neutral when it was actually just this slow, grinding kind of violence. So I called Emily first. I figured she'd be the softest place to land. I asked if she had time to talk. She said sure. Casual as hell. Had no idea I was pacing my kitchen with sweat clinging to my back while James whispered, "You got this," from the hallway. I told her everything. There was a long silence. Then she said, "Okay, thank you for telling me." Just like that. Kind. Careful. A little stunned, but not cruel. She was quiet for so long I thought she might be crying. Then she said, "I still love you, obviously. I don't fully get it. But I love you." I could work with that. What threw me was what she said next. "Are you going to tell Mom and Dad? Because I don't think they're going to take it like I did." And I said, "I know." I waited another week. Not because I was doubting it. I wasn't. For once, the decision felt solid. Heavy, yeah, but not slippery like it used to. I just needed time to brace myself, I guess. To rehearse the fallout. James didn't ask, didn't push. But he sat closer to me those nights. Rubbed my back when I couldn't sleep. Whispered dumb stuff to make me laugh when my shoulders were all hiked up around my ears. When I finally did it, I chose the phone. Not brave enough for face-to-face. Cowardly, maybe, but I needed the buffer. The pause after pain. The option to hang up if I broke down. Sunday afternoon. I called my mom first. She answered on the first ring, like always. Hey baby, everything okay? Every syllable so full of warmth, of before I told her. I remember thinking, this is the last time I'll exist like this to her. I got straight to it. Not cold, not dramatic. I just said it. Mom, I need to tell you something. I'm gay. The silence was instant and massive. Then she said faintly, you're what? Like I confessed to a crime. I'm gay. I always have been. She exhaled, like someone had punched the air out of her. I don't understand, she said. You dated girls. You never said anything. I told her I was scared. That I didn't know how. That I'm still the same son she raised, still the same person who helps with dishes and remembers her birthday and loves her. But she wasn't there with me. Not really. What about the Bible? She asked. You know what we believe. I said, I know. But Mom, you've always said God is love. Well, this is love. It's not a phase or rebellion or some broken thing. It's just me. All of me. She started crying. I kept talking, softly, like maybe if I sounded gentle enough, it wouldn't shatter the last bit of her I had left. I told her about James. Not everything, just that he was kind and safe, and that I loved him. Her voice broke when she said, you're making a choice to walk away from God. And that got me. Like really got me. Because it wasn't true. I didn't leave God. I left pretending. I left hating myself. I left fear. And maybe I don't believe everything like they do anymore, but if God is anything at all, He knows I never stopped loving my family while digging myself out of that silence. I told her, I'm not walking away from love. I'm finally walking toward it. She didn't respond. The line went quiet for a long time, and when she finally spoke, all she said was, I need some time. I said I understood. I really did. But it still cracked me open. I didn't call my dad. He called me. 2 hours later. No hellos, no preamble. Just his voice low, hard. So it's true. Yeah, I said. He didn't yell. My dad doesn't yell. But he does weaponize disappointment like no one else. I thought I raised you better, he said. I know you did, I answered. He said a lot of things after that. Verses. Warnings. The old we don't hate the sinner speech. I just listened. Let it wash through me. I'd already said the hardest part. He ended with, I don't agree with this. I never will. But you're still my son. And that, weirdly, gutted me more than all the disappointment. Because I could hear what he didn't say. That last line, it's a half-love. One with fine print. Conditions. You're still my son, so long as I don't show up with James. So long as I keep all this behind some closed, polite door. So yeah, that was the big, terrifying coming out. I didn't feel triumphant or free right after. I felt hollow, exhausted, like I'd just poured gasoline over years of family rituals and lit a match in front of everyone. But a few days later, something small happened. Emily texted me a picture of her and Matt with the caption, double date soon? Maybe low stakes like bowling? And I sat down on my couch and just exhaled. Maybe it won't all be wreckage. Maybe there's a path here with cracks and grief and slow, stubborn healing. Maybe some bridges don't burn. They just sway real hard as you cross. James made dinner that night. Stir fry. He danced while chopping vegetables, offbeat and goofy like always. I watched him for a while before I joined in. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like someone pretending. I didn't feel like a coward. Just someone who finally said it out loud.